onto another remaster of a game from the early 2010s for me.
Big song.
Luigi's Mansion 2 on the 3DS was in my original top 100 video games of all time list, coming in at number 46 of all places. Your age. I really loved it. I really loved it at the time, especially playing the game with the stereoscopic 3D, giving me the spooky mansions, a tangible sense of depth that suited the style just so perfectly. I enjoyed the more handheld friendly chunks, smaller chunks. It all lent itself very well to a fantastic gaming experience with the core addictive hoover 'em up gameplay of Luigi's Mansion being retained, and an even bigger and better attention to detail with the animation and voice work. It's honestly industry best in terms of the portrayal of Luigi by Charles Martinet in there. It's one of the only games you could watch a playthrough of and enjoy to the same extent as you would like watch an Aardman animation or something like that. It's just stunning. So I was definitely keen to revisit the game in its HD remaster on the Switch, although when it was announced, you very personally said that we'd probably rather have a demaster of Luigi's Mansion 3 on the 3DS than a port of Luigi's Mansion 2 going the other way, because of how much we love the stereoscopic 3D screen, and especially how well it suits the games in this franchise. And I definitely knew that the game would be lacking something without this element, even with its tarted up visuals. It's amazing how well the animation and voice work was rendered in the 3DS version on such a small screen. They really conveyed so much, so well, and it's certainly an element of the game that benefits from being upscaled and realised so crisply in HD. The core of the game is still really, really great, but there's a few things that definitely bugged me this time round, and start with the obvious lack of stereoscopic 3D. For the most part, it's fine. Yes, I wish it was there, and yes, it might help a little bit with aiming, but ultimately it's fine. The issue I have is with a couple of moments that are specifically designed for stereoscopic 3D that haven't been adjusted to accommodate for the lack of it on the Switch screen. There's a perspective puzzle that is just impossible to twig on to without trial and error. There's a whole boss fight that is really horrible to play without being able to judge the depth of the shots you're firing at the boss, like while you're sort of careening down a long tunnel. It's exactly the sort of moments, you got in blockbuster movies probably from that sort of time, when all the fight scenes had arrows or projectiles flying slow motion towards the camera for the 6 or 7 people who enjoy seeing them in 3D. That, without it, it just looks gone. But the way the game...
That's such a good word.
But the way the game works in terms of its mission-based gameplay, after a while, started to grate on me. And I know that I'm playing this game on a handheld as well, because I'm playing it on my Switch Lite whilst my OLED Switch is being repaired. But having the game be broken up like this, instead of making me more likely to pick it up and play the next mission, then the next, and then the next, instead it just gave me more opportunities to put the game down. And if this was a remake rather than a remaster, I'm sure that they would have just made the 5 mansions in the game all be more open to explore as one whole mission, rather than breaking it up with returning to EGAD for reasons. It's really satisfying, poring over all the details of the mansions, literally hoovering up every secret you can find. But then when you go back to the mansion for the next mission, there's a sense that you kind of need to do it all again with slightly different things in different places, without a tangible, overarching sense of progress in terms of your exploration. It's just a bit unsatisfying. Even if the game still had the missions and the boss levels, but after you'd beaten it, you could do free play in the mansion to find all the secrets, that would have been great. I'd happily go and winkle out everything the game had hidden, but instead, I just felt pretty uninclined to return to it, because even though you can see that you're missing the selection of hidden gems that are, they're the main sort of collectible to find, or there's always a special boo hidden in every level. You can see which ones you've missed and which ones you've got, and roughly which level they'll be in. I'd rather it just be more open to exploration, with a Metroidvania sense to creeping around the mansions, because I love the atmosphere of the game with its cheeky spooks and slapstick humour. I just want to keep exploring, which is the most fun part of the game, to be honest. There's always also just always a mission, at least in every mansion, where you have to guide a stray toad to a rescue point, and it's filled with all the usual hassle of like companion quests that I can happily do without.
Yeah.
All of those niggles aside, that it didn't bug me anywhere near as much when I first played the game on 3DS. This is still a really good game. Like, the mechanics are brilliantly implemented. It still feels like any other game to play, obviously apart from Luigi's Mansion 1 and 3. Like, the different mansions have all got a great unique flavour to them, are all well designed with some really cool puzzles. Like I said, the animation and voice work is top drawer. Graphically, it's a nice remaster, even though it doesn't quite have the same polish as Luigi Mansion 3, but I think Luigi Mansion 3 is probably a contender for the best looking game on the Switch, to be fair. And it's great to see Nintendo properly supporting this franchise. It gives me hope for a Luigi's Mansion 4 at some point, which I'd absolutely love. It feels like there's a couple of niggles with each of the Luigi's Mansion game now, with like the first one being a bit of a first draft of the concept, yet to be sort of fully developed. Luigi's Mansion 2 being a bit held back by the limitations of the 3DS, and Luigi's Mansion 3 feeling maybe a bit too disconnected between the different floors of the hotel. Maybe Luigi's Mansion 4 could incorporate the strengths of all the previous games and produce like a top draw Metroidvania Hoover 'em up game. But of course, now we know that Charles Martinet won't be back to voice Luigi. That could end up being that game's niggle. Who knows? We'll find out, I'm sure. I bought Luigi Mansion 2 HD with one of the Nintendo game voucher things.
The digital discount thingies.
Yeah, digital discount thing. So you you can pay for 2 games and you get say £5 or whatever. And I got Luigi Mansion 2 HD and Donkey Kong Country Returns HD, which is a pre-order because that doesn't come out until next year. And I can't remember why, but I got a discount on the voucher. And I basically got both of those games for like 25 or 30 quid each, which I'd say is a fair price for this remaster. But if you've got an old 3DS somewhere and haven't played Luigi's Mansion 2, I'd recommend playing it on there. Then play the Luigi's Mansion 1 port on 3DS 2. And then sacrifice a loved one to conjure a stereoscopic 3D screen on the Switch 2. Amen.
It's not going to happen. I mean, we know it's not happening already. We've seen enough tech drops for it. I think Luigi's Mansion 2 HD remake, remaster, whatever this is, only exists because the Switch has lasted longer than even Nintendo thought it would. I think this is very much a game that it's like they would have done the whole port job in probably a few months, because by the sounds of it, if they didn't tweak some of the kind of core stereoscopic 3DS specific bits, I think it's just come out of the necessity of having something to fill the schedule. And it's like, I'm pretty sure Xenoblade X has just been ready to go for about 4 years at this point. And they've just had it there being like, it's the swan song. It's the swan song for the Switch. As soon as Nintendo gives the go ahead, let's get it out the door. And every year they're like, 2023, lads, yeah? 2024, I reckon. 2025 is going to be the year. And it's just been sat there. The legs on this thing is unreal. Fair fucks. They've done incredibly well on this machine, and I love it dearly. But at the same time, I would also love to currently be holding a Switch 2. I'll say that.